What's up, guys? Iceman here. So first off, I'd like to thank Tuna Jelly, my most recent patron. Now, he was a patron in the past, and I think he has increased his patronage to $20 a month. It was absolute fucking toad to see that notification in my emails. So thank you, Tuna Jelly. May your finances be blessed, and may you have many wives. And to all my patrons, peace be with you. So, in this video, if you want to become a patron, links in the description below. You can also buy Iceman a fucking coffee and tippy in the tippy jar. So yeah, in this video, I am going to bitch about how to attain the elusive Enigma. Alright? Enigma in D2R is going to be one of the most desirable pieces of gear imaginable. At least initially, before they start changing shit up. If they do that, we don't know. Speculation has it that there could possibly be a classic ladder reset going on simultaneously with a Resurrected ladder reset. The Resurrected ladder reset having balances, skill changes, added things, quality of life changes, etc. Hopefully slamming of gear, corrupting items like Path of Exile and PD2 in my opinion. But we'll see how all that shit goes. But the bottom line is Enigma is toad as fuck. Alright, now when searching for an Enigma, you have to find a good item base. So it has to be in a body armor. And it has to have 3 sockets. Now you can find any white body armor, and if it potentially can have 3 or more sockets, you can potentially roll 3 sockets via a Herodric Cube recipe. So you need a perfect topaz, a Tal rune, and a Thal rune, and a white armor. Alright, now this one wouldn't work because it's blue, it's magic. But if it were white and plain, I could put it in the cube and it could roll 1 to 4 sockets. Now you could of course Larzuk quest it as well, but the problem with that is Larzuk will always put the max amount of sockets in the item. Now this is partly going to depend on the item level itself. I don't know if we're going to be able to see the item level itself in D2R because there's not loot filters and shit as far as I know, but nonetheless it is dependent on the item level, so do your research and shit, okay? Now I like using, and these are the most tradable ones as well, so making it in a tradable base is pretty important, alright, in case if you ever want to trade this shit. And they're tradable for a reason. People generally desire low strength requirement armors to make their expensive rune worms in, alright, and ones with decent defense, so you're going to want to find elite armors. Now, the 2 most popular types are Dusk Shroud. Now, this is a low armor roll. When I make an Enigma or a Chains of Honor or anything of that, Fortitude, I like to have high defense on it, alright? Now, Dusk Shroud, it has quite a range. You can go to the AreaSummit.com to find information on this shit. On potential defense rolls on armors and their range. Dusk Shroud, I believe, can roll 467 defense without being superior. Alright, now it's an important thing to note. I never make rune words in superior items that can lose durability because of the fact that they're very expensive to repair. Now you're making some sacrifices when it comes to damage output and defense, but I just don't find it to be worth it. It's too fucking expensive. Of course, you can collect a bunch of Ral runes and shit to repair it that way. But right now in D2R, you can't even stack runes, as fucked up as that is, so you're going to be taking up a lot of space with Ral runes, and I just don't like those tedious things, alright? So I always make it in a non-superior base. Now, perhaps the most desirable base to make them in, Enigma in this case, is an Archon plate. Alright, now both Archon and Dusk Shroud can roll max of 4 sockets. So you're going to have to either find a 3-socketed one, or you're going to have to cube socket it and hope for 3 sockets. Alright? Now Archon plate can roll more defense than the Dusk Shroud, But as you can see here, it requires 103 strength as opposed to the Dusk Shroud's 77 strength. Now, I also like to make them in rim hide because I think the rim hide looks decent on the women. So I would make those sacrifices, okay? Because rim hide I think is 111 strength requirement, and it doesn't even get as much defense as the Archon plate, which is less strength requirement. Now here's another thing that's important. You want to make Enigma or Chains of Honor or whatever in light armors. Armors that are light in terms of their scale and being of weight, alright? Because it's not going to inhibit your character's run walk speed. Because armors come in 3 tiers. They come in light, medium, and heavy. A heavy example would be like a full plate mail, alright? And strangely enough, ornate plate or ancient armor or sacred armor is actually a medium armor, even though they can potentially roll the highest amount of defense in the game. So there's some things to look into when it comes to that shit, but I like to make them in light armors, and most do, obviously. But like I said, the rim hide, or not the rim hide, the wire fleece, I thought looked sexy on the women, on the Amazon, on the, maybe to a lesser extent the Assassin, but the thing is, in D2R, as far as I see it, there aren't even any women characters in this fucking game. They're all testosteroned up men compared to what they were in the original art and the original game. So I'm not really looking to put this armor on them anyway, affect the armor. So that whole ideal just gets tossed out the fucking window, because we're pretty much dealing with husky men and shit. So, you know, whatever. I'm just going to put whatever the fuck I find on them, and looks just don't even matter anymore when it comes to my armor selections and all that. If anything, I want to cover them up more. So, I'm pretty much not going to be looking for a wire fleece anymore for the Amazon. In fact, I probably won't even play the fucking Amazon. I'm going to play the Assassin. I tend to go a lightning trap / Kixin route for the ladder reset. Sounds fun as fuck. But yeah, come on. Can you rework the Assassin model, please? Can you make her look like the original? Can you make her not husky, all butched up, all boxed up in the face and shit? Can you maybe... it's probably too much to ask, but I mean, the game hasn't released yet. So here's holding out for that shit. But I have my doubts. But how you attain these armor bases, this is what I do. I go to the pit to find them. You want to get this waypoint in Hell Mode. As soon as you get to Hell Mode, try to get this waypoint, the Outer Cloister. Alright? And then you teleport outside of it into the Temo Highland. Is that how you say? Let me know in the comments below. And then you find the pit. Because the pit is a level 85 area, meaning it can drop the highest item bases in the game. Highest items for that matter. So you just kill a bunch of shit. Now you might want to reduce the amount of magic find your character has on them if you're looking to get a white armor base, because remember, magic find is going to increase the chances of finding magic items or other item types, or uniques, rares, whatever. So you really want to minimize that when searching for a base. Now another option is, of course, to trade for a base. To my memory, generally you can trade for a 3-socketed Dusk Shroud if it doesn't have too much defense, if it's not superior, which the superior ones tend to trade for more, even though, like I said, I think it's dumb as fuck making them in a superior base. But to each their own in that. And you can often trade for a plain 30s Archon plate or 3-socketed Dusk Shroud. You can trade like an rune to an Ist rune for one of those, depending on the range and armor that it rolled. All right. So that's how you go about to get those. The cow level is also a good place, but I found them in the pit. But often, yeah, you just want to trade for that shit. Now, in many cases, the more difficult to attain parts of Enigma are, of course, the Burr and the Jaw rune. Now, you can actually find both of those runes in the pit here. Anything can fall in the fucking pit. Outside of Torch and Annie. Methinks. Pretty damn sure of it. So yeah, go to the pit and find that shit. But for a Jaw and a Burr rune, now Jaw theoretically is more rare than the Burr. And 2 Burrs in a cube can actually make a Jaw rune. I think you need a Flawless Sapphire or something coupled with it to make a jaw rune. But of course, that is not an optimal way to go, because you could easily trade, say, a burr and an ist rune, or sometimes just a burr rune for a jaw rune, depending on how the economy is. But if you're playing single player, you might be subject and required to go the route of cubing up your runes, because there's of course no trade in single player. So basically, a good way to find burr and jaw rune is farming this place right here, and farming the council. So Act 3, just make sure you get this waypoint when you're running it, trying to beat the game or whatever. So Hell Travancore is where you can find good runes. Now if you have a barbarian, you can also item find the dead corpses and potentially get an additional drop. So that could be a good route to take. But cold sorts are actually quite common for running the Trav as well. You just have to have a character who's able to do it. And it can be quite difficult. So early on, your first experience running the Trav in Hell, it's probably going to be somewhat of a bitch. And I'm not sure how well it's going to go for you, really. So it's just an option. And you can find both of those runes here. So give that a shot. There's a Dust Shroud. I don't think you're going to find white items from these guys, however, so that's not really a factor. But the Trav is one good spot, and let me show you another good spot to find the burr and the jaw rune. So, in Hell mode, you have to complete the Rescue Cain quest. And in Tristram, of course, you can find Wirt's lag from Wirt in the corner of the level. Just go to his corpse, click on it, and this lag will pop out. So if you've completed Hell mode by defeating Bel in Hell, you can go back to Act 1 and make the cow level. Now in D2R, you should be able to kill the Cow King as many times as you want, and you shouldn't ever lose the ability to make the cow level, so we're told anyway. So you put Wirt's lag in a cube.
I can't use this yet.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh shit! Okay, I have not yet murdered Bel with this character, so let me make the cow level with a different character, and that's a good fucking place to attain the jaw and burr rune. All right, so I'll be right back. All right, so I made the cow level with my necromancer, and as mentioned, this is a pretty damn good place to farm high runes as well, and both the burr and the jaw can drop here. You can look up online as to where runes can drop, and basically you want to be in higher level areas to get the higher level runes, obviously. So farm around the cow level. Looks like we're going to be able to kill the Cow King now in D2R, so that'll be nice. And there's another spot I'd like to show you dogs as to where you can find at least the burr rune, okay? Because it's going to be toad as fuck if you can find these runes, because Enigma is just all around a great armor, and especially in LOD, vanilla, or whatever you call it, how D2R is going to be initially. Enigma, almost every fucking build wants that armor. Of course, there are some niche builds that don't need it as much, but I mean, it's all around a great armor, and I actually intend to have it on my Kick Assassin if I can ever find this shit. Of course, it's a real pain in the ass to attain these items, but it's possible. So let me show you one last spot that I think is going to be good to search for these GG runes. So you want to go to this place called the Lower Kurast. Alright? And I actually had to teleport here back to this region from the Travancore. Here we go, here's the waypoint. You want to get the waypoint here. Now this is most effective with a sorceress to farm this area. So what you do is there are what are called super chests, alright? And you find them in the Lower Kurast. Now you have to look for like torches and shit. There's a couple. Here's a little camp. You have to look for the camps. And I've never farmed these areas too much, but I've seen great results from it. Because I generally just like to kill a bunch of shit in the pit and the Chaos Sanctuary. I just like killing shit. And farming these areas can be a bit tedious, but if if done with fervor and shit, it could be very effective. All right, you could really, you can find some nice ass runes here, and I think Burr is the highest that can fall here. But nonetheless, you're going to start building up your runes potentially. You know, maybe you'll find an Ohm, a Gull, a Low, shit like that, and make your way up to building the Enigma. Now, in that case, I didn't find shit. Now, there's usually 2 camps, to my understanding, in Lower Kurast. But I usually just open up all these chests and shit anyway. Alright? So go around, open up the chests and shit, maybe kill a couple bosses on the way. But I always open up these stashes and whatnot. Hell yeah, there's a charm. Cute little charm right there. You want to keep an eye out for the small charms especially, and grand charms. Both small charms and grand charms, very desirable. You can roll skills on the grand charms. And small charms have nice mods as well. You can roll 3 max damage. Small charms with other mods, 20 life for example. You can roll up to 7 MF on a small charm, which are very collectible and tradable. So keep an eye out for those small charms and grand charms. I mean, there should be another camp somewhere around here. I don't know where the fuck it is, but you have to look out for the torches and shit, alright? And in single player, you can just keep going to the same spot because your map's saved, as long as you don't, like, restart your adventure or whatnot. That's how it is in Classic anyway, so you could go right from the waypoint, you could see where that fire was, and just teleport straight over there and just open that shit up. And leave the game, come back, and all the monsters and chests would be back, but the maps would be the same. So that could be a very effective way. However, on botnet, it's a bit more tedious because you have to find them. So another spot that's really popular for just high items and the higher runes is the Ancient Tunnels. Now this is a place where you can go with a cold sword, for example, because there are next to no cold immunes in the Ancient Tunnels. So you can kill most, if not all, the enemies there, alright? If your character is relatively decent. And this is something you can do quite early on, as long as you level up your skills properly and are at an adequate level. Even if your gear is shit, you can still do okay in the Ancient Tunnels if you're a cold character. So you just fly around and you find the Ancient Tunnels, you go down in there, you kill shit, and you hope for the best that you're going to get a John or Burrow. In my time playing Diablo 2, I might have made like a legit Enigma one fucking time. The other times were probably from just the market being saturated with a bunch of shit, people throwing shit on the ground from bots and all that. And I probably picked shit up that was found in that way without even really knowing it. But I might have made an Enigma once, but the thing is I never really strived for an Enigma. It's so common and popular, I was kind of drawn away from it. I always wanted like a Chains of Honor. I made a few of those. Those are cheaper, of course. Slightly cheaper, or quite a bit cheaper, but that's the route I would generally take. Or Fortitude on a Frenzy bar, which is far cheaper. But this time around, like, I want a godly as fuck lightning trap assassin, and I'm gonna put a full helm on that face. But nonetheless, I'm fixing to make a godly trap sin that can kick as well. And Enigma is just the icing of the cake. When you can teleport around, and you have decent cast rate with her, maybe a Wizard Spike and a Spirit Shield on switch to teleport. Stuff like that, man. I'm kind of fixing to get an Enigma for, so wish your dog luck with that. But these are just my methods on how to attain an Enigma. And of course, in these areas, you can find tradable items. And shit, you can find Griffin's Eye, you can find Death's Fathom, you can find Shaco, and you can find things that'll help trade your way up toward those GG runes. You can find GG bases, you know? Sometimes you find like a four-socketed superior ethereal thresher. That shit'll get you a high rune, because that's what people want to make an infinity in or something like that. So you can find all sorts of GG shit in these areas. But yeah, if you guys will like the video, hit the thumbs up button. Become a patron if you want. Hell yeah, another small charm. Links in the description below. Come on, dog. Piece of shit. And I'll talk to you toads later. Peace be with you.